Great.
So I just want to welcome everybody to the Business Playbook Mastermind. Today, we're going to talk about Fsbos, how you can 10X your production with Fsbos. You know, we have on Cam down there in Florida. Look at it. He's got his hand still going. He's got a broken leg. He's on the call. He's smiling. He's dialing. See, the great thing is you can be hurt, but it's all about mindset and focus. So you can still call all day and set up appointments, right? And I got Gail DeMarco, the rock star. She just got off her Harley. Look at, she's ready to go. We got the ROG, my brother from another mother, Craig Lurch, down in Philly. Big weekend in Philly. Big games coming up, right? Fly Eagles fly. We got Brian out there in Yellowstone. He's waiting for the premiere. I think it's this weekend. And he's getting ready. We got Randy out on the beach, ready to go. And, you know, it should be a good thing.
I got people texting me for the link right now. Can you throw it in the chat real quick?
Ooh, Dre, can you throw that in the chat? That'd be great.
Yep, I'll throw it in now.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's get that started up. Dennis is on here. He's got a white EXP shirt on that's popping. He's got his board filled behind him. He's got a guitar back there. I don't know, he's playing honky tonk or doing something, right? Get some of these deals through. So let's talk about Fsbos. I'm going to talk. I want Cam to go first on this. And Cam, I know you've had some experience with Fsbos in the past. So tell everybody kind of your process, what scripts you use and so forth.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. So Fsbos, right off the bat, haven't done a lot of them in the last few years. Just we haven't had many of them. But what we were doing prior that was very, very, very effective is door knocking. So if you see a Fsbo, we actually have a 62-page book that we wrote, and then we customized to make sure that it made sense in our market. It was kind of a generic kind of how to sell your home, all the different things, what title companies do, really in depth. Like I said, 62 pages. It was, you know, it was like a book. And when we seen a for sale by owner, we would stop, knock on the door and say, hey, we just were looking at a property down the road for another client of mine. And I seen you're listed your home for sale by owner. I don't know if your home would fit for my client, but I have these books that I actually produced and I wrote, and I'd like to give it to you. Do you mind if I look around your home? So you come off as, you know, right off the bat, you come off as giving. You want to give them something. You have a client that you were just showing down the street. So obviously you say a lot of things that pique their interest and make sure that they want to first allow you in the door. Once you're in the door, then you start obviously pre-qualling, you start asking about the home. And really that obviously goes into conversation. That's more of the pre-qual thing. But I will say that is the most beneficial way that we've been able to get for sale by owners. Now, you don't always get them on the first go. I mean, obviously you look around their home and 99% of the time, the buyer you were just working with, obviously that's not what they're looking for. If it was, you would have shown it to them. But you say, hey, take this book. I want you to read it, look through all those steps. Now, one thing, or the truth about the book is that it's so in depth that it goes over everybody's head. I mean, it goes into the very, very, details on how to sell your home, how to market your home, that kind of stuff. And the goal is that they start looking through it and they go, wow, this is way more than we really thought was involved. Now, remember, guys, this is in a traditional market where, homes can sit on the market 30, 60, 90 days. If it's selling in 3 days, that's kind of a challenge, is that you can't show value if they can sell it in 30 days. Absolutely, guys. I'm happy to link the book. So, you come from value, you give them the book, you show them that you're available. And once they start going through it, they go, wow, this is a lot more advanced. And then obviously in the end of the book, if this is too much for you, give me a call. And it gives you something to follow up on. Hey, just wanted to see if you read the book, wanted to check in on how is selling your home. What exciting has happened? That's always a great line. What exciting has happened in selling your home? And they go, well, nothing. Wow, you're kidding me. Well, I sold 2 homes or 3 homes this week. Yeah, Pete, I know you love that line. So I've sold, a couple homes this week, and they go, wow. And you just reinforce that you're there to help them, that you can sell it, that you're there. And 1 week, 2 weeks later, they'll be picking up the phone. You'll get a call. Hey, this is Susie. Do you remember us? That's what they always say. Do you remember us? And it's like, yeah, of course I remember you guys. I've been waiting for your call. So then obviously you can go out, do a full presentation. And obviously when they reach out to you, it's like 95% you get the listing. So that's my best feel for sub owners. Have a book. I'll get a link to it. I think I already have it uploaded, but I'll send it over to you guys. And yeah, that's what I got.
Love that. I see the thing, you guys, that I keyed in on what Cam was saying was he creates excitement, right? and he's asking really pointed questions. The key thing is you're trying to build a relationship. It's not where, hey, my name's Cam, can we get married? It doesn't happen that way. You got to date the people and really get in with them. So let's go from Cam over to
Pete,
Gail.
one more thing. Let's go on with that. Hold on. Yeah, man, this is great. So yeah, and you're right. You got to date the people. It's a little bit of a game, right? Especially when you first introduction, that first meeting, it's, hey, you know, I'm excited. I'm showing homes. We're selling homes. You're selling your home. How can I help you? Oh, check out this amazing piece of, information that I can give you. And then once they start looking, they go, whoa, this is way more than we thought. They've only maybe had one showing. And then you're calling them, hey, what's exciting? What's going on? You know, and you're right. You got to play the game a little bit, get them excited, let them know that you are, you know, working in their area, you're able to sell it. And then that's why they pick up the phone and they reach out to you. So anyways.
Love it. Well, that's the key thing, you know, and that's what I've always found too, is you got to build that relationship. You know, I think a lot of people approach it the wrong way. They love to tell for sale by owners that it's not going to work. You got to take your ego out of it.
Right.
Listen, they're trying it for a reason because they're not seeing value in what we do. So let's go over to Gail. Gail, with your experience in the past, and you guys, Gail's a rock star with this stuff. She hustles, and you have to hustle in this market. When you've come across Fsbos or gone after Fsbos, what was your approach?
Okay. This works. So what I do is I contact the seller and I tell them, hey, do you mind if I come over? I want to do a FaceTime for my Bay Area buyer. Okay. So then I have somebody from my office on the other end. And, you know, I walk around the house and they, you know, and of course I'm telling them to edify the home. Wow, I like that. Hey, is there a possibility for a room for a pool? Just so, you know, they're like standing in the background. They're watching me interact with my Bay Area buyer. So depending on where your buyer is coming from the Bay Area, because really, like Cameron says, all about making that relationship. So, you know, I'm kind of buttering them up. I actually will bring them a little gift, you know, just like some chocolates or something. And then I also bring a folder with all the disclosures. Like we have a new disclosure called the hardening disclosure here. And so you have to have the fire department come out and you have to have them look at it. And if you don't, it could take up to 3 months. So I kind of educate, hey, here's the latest. So they're usually so bewildered when I give them like, you know, 40 pages of disclosures. Say, listen, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to help. You know, my name's on any of these. So if you want me to sit and explain it to you. Now, keep in mind, I haven't really done Fsbos in a year, right? Because we haven't had a whole lot of those, you know, I mean, usually if they were Fsbo, they were gone. But this is, to me, when you're showing up with some value, you show up with your personality, you actually have a buyer. It's a fake buyer, right? But, you know, you're just, and it's a way for me to view the house. So I can actually possibly bring them a buyer. So rather than go, hey, you know, going right into my fairy script and just showing up in person, it's hard to hate up close, right? So they hate a lot of realtors that are calling them all the time. And how do you set yourself apart? So you build that relationship and then you could show up like a week later. How's it going? Now you have their phone number. They're trusting you. You actually are showing them something that they didn't know they could get sued for or in trouble. So that's really my open house hack.
I love that.
For sale by owner. Yeah.
I love that. Are you nervous providing all the disclosures with your DRE information at the bottom, or?
Yeah, so basically I'm saying, here's the 40 disclosures that all my buyer is going to want to know from you. Do you have you know, I'll say, do you have a disclosure package? And they'll usually go, well, no, you know, what is that? So then I'll say, you know, I'm happy to sit and explain it to you. You know, do you have time? If not, I can come back tonight when your husband's here. So this way you can both understand, because the last thing I want to see is you get into trouble. More lawsuits happen with for sale by owners. So that's kind of my way to really show my value and have them go, yeah, I'd like you to come back. I'd love you to, you know, bring me these disclosures for free. So, and I'm like, there's a certain way, you know, like on the fire hardening one, there's like this one little section where you can actually leave a blank. I'm like, you don't have to answer that yes or no, because it says, are you aware of? Not do, you know. So when I say that, and this one I'm really excited about, we just had, you know, we're doing classes, all the disclosure companies are approaching us, trying to educate us to get our business. So I'm using that tool right now I have a list of 3, because when I found out what the topic was, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun. I found out like this morning with my accountability call with Craig Lurch. And so I just started looking at for sale by owners. I'm like, I'm going to go to that one, that one, that one, and they're going to be scared. And it's usually if they have more than a 1/4 acre of property. So it's like, if they have to do clearing, because before nobody had to. But so it's just really showing up, building that relationship, getting your foot in, because most of the time both people are not home, right? So, and just say, and like Cameron said, say, hey, I got another listing right around the block. I'm going to be back here Friday night at 4 o'clock. Will that work? It's not like, you got nothing better to do, but you got a buyer. You also have business around the corner. So you must be busy. You must be a great realtor. So it's all just giving that confidence and saying, wow, I really don't want to get in trouble. Now that the market is, a normal market, it's a phenomenal opportunity for the Fsbos. And I'll tell you, when you call them, it's not as powerful as when you get in front of them. I got a buyer. I got to FaceTime them. They have a break. Then I'll tell them they have a break, because I don't want them to say, well, I go, they have a lunch break between 12 and 1. Will that work? Well, will 2 work? No, they're really serious buyers. They've been watching this neighborhood, particularly the street. So, if you can make that work. So that's really, really works well.
And do you, so one of the questions was, do you leave the packet of disclosures?
I'll leave the packet of disclosures, sure. Because I'm not leaving my listing presentation, that I never leave, but I'll leave the disclosures and I'll highlight all the important things. So that's important. So you don't just leave the disclosures. Then I'll put a little note, I'll highlight it. And you don't bring all of the disclosures. So you know what? I only have, I'll usually say, here's half of them, right? I could bring the other half, my printer, I didn't have time to print because I have an appointment around the block, because you want to make sure that you have a reason to come back. So if you give them everything, then maybe there is no reason to come back. They say, let me bring you the rest of the most updated ones that just came out. I just was running out to an appointment. So here's what I have. Do you want me to bring the rest? And they will always say, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you have to have something, you gotta have some kind of hook to come back, right? Now, do they understand most of the time that they are not exempt from filling out those disclosures just because they're a Fsbo?
Oh, they don't have a clue most of the time. All they know is that they're going to save $30,000 in commission. They really don't know. They think they just have to, they go online. If you look online, disclosures for sale by owner, they don't have 1/4 of the disclosures that we have in the MLS, right? So, and another way you could do it is saying, I'm actually bringing disclosures over to another, property right now, and I can make you a copy if you want, and just kind of flip through it and say, hey, this is super important. You got to have this. Or, so you don't have to leave it. I mean, whatever you decide to do, because even if you leave it, they're not going to know how to fill it out. And I will tell them, I usually spend 2 hours with my clients filling out disclosures. I'm happy to sit with you and your husband if you have any questions. I technically can't, since I'm not representing you, liability wise, I can't really advise you how to do it. But, because God forbid this is a good one. God forbid you end up in, a lawsuit, with the buyer. I don't want to be pulled into it since I don't represent you. But if you have questions, I can absolutely.
Love that. That's great. I see. And guys, the big thing that Gail's doing there is she's just building value. She's building rapport, right? She's showing I am coming with value. I'm not coming saying sign this listing agreement, pay me a bunch of money, and I'm not going to service you. She's showing value that they don't have and they can't find. That's great stuff, Gail. I love it. Love it. Okay, let's go over to Brian, who's out in Montana on the river. He's getting ready for the big Yellowstone premiere on Sunday night. Brian, what's the deal? I mean, talk to me about what scripts you use and how do you pick up the phone, call the Fsbos, make sure they don't hang up on you to get in front of them. What's the first step?
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the first step is just be on a team. Like I'm on Cameron Smith's team right now. I work in Florida. I'm calling a Fsbo. I said, hey, I work with Cameron Smith. We're one of the top agents in the area. And we've got this amazing book, and I'd love to stop by and give you some assistance on the sale of your house with this program, right? I that's my confidence muscle. If you're not an expert in what he's doing or what Gail said, then don't go out and miss an opportunity to get a referral to work a deal with a top agent, right? Make sure that if you're not comfortable with knocking on for sale by owner doors and you don't have the confidence to land the listing with the listing appointment right out of the gate, then just go and have fun. That's the key here. So here's what I know about Fsbos. They're all different. They all have a different agenda. Some have had a really bad experience with realtors and they'll never list their home ever again with a realtor because they had a really bad representation. So you have to understand, why in the world are they even doing a for sale by owner? That's an art all in itself. So when you're able to ask great questions, like, hey, let me ask you, I noticed your home's for sale, you're selling it by yourself. Where are you guys going to go when you sell your home? Why are you moving? What's up? Like, I just want to know. I want to qualify them. Do I even want this listing? Do I want to deal with somebody who's been traumatized by our industry? I don't want that. So what I would do is quickly, I would say, well, hey, would you mind? I'm just curious, if you don't sell it by owner and you were to list it, who are you going to list it with? And they tell me the name. I'm going to say, great. You know, I work with Cameron, or I've worked with that name. I work with that person. I'll tell you what, if my team's not able to assist you, I would love to bring them in with me. And I'll go talk to that top producer. I'll say, hey, I was door knocking. I went on a Fsbo appointment. I've got somebody that's on the fence. I don't know if I want to work with them, but they said they were going to list with you. And I just want to know, you want to go 50-50 on a listing in your marketplace? I'll just be the second agent. You guys take it, right? I'm getting something out of that. Okay. So if you guys are brand new or you're like not up to speed on this, have fun and find yourself a deal to go 50-50 with and learn from the expert that is going to walk in. Be there with them on the listing appointment and watch what happens. Even if you're not in the same brokerage, that's not going to matter. We all know we can work with other agents in other areas. So I learned these things from a mentor. You know, and a great question is when you sell, where are you going to move to? Now, when you're strong, you've got a lot of oomph behind you. You've got a Cameron Smith portfolio of 1,000 houses, and Pete Middleton owns and operates all of La Jolla and, you know, that whole marketplace. And you walk in. What my wife did, and she landed a lot of for sale by owners, is what she would do is she would knock on the door, like Cameron said, or call and said, hey, I'm going to be in your area today. Would you mind if I stop by and take a picture of the front of your house? I'd like to just throw together a quick little flyer for my team so that if nothing else on the market hits, you know, quickly for our buyer pool, we have a lot of buyers, we sell a lot of teams. I just want to be able to promote your house to my team. And I wouldn't go after the open listing right now, right? Because we have those in California. You can take open listings. A seller can list their home with multiple brokers on an open listing. And an open listing just is like a one-party showing listing contract. You can do that if you've got a strong, you know, script program and you're trusting. But let's just say, so she would go out, she would take a picture, and then she'd say, hey, by the way, while I'm here, would you mind if I take a quick tour? We do have a lot of buyers. I have a big team. And she would walk through the house. She would take a few more pictures, see the property, and then see if she did really want to do a listing presentation without ever having to talk about it. She would just say things like Gail was talking about. Wow, this is really nice. Wow, I couldn't really see your view from the street. This is amazing. Build a lot of trust, and then not go for a close and just go with the opportunity to say, you know, hey, thank you for letting me come by your house today. I really looking forward to sharing this with my buyer team. And, you know, we're going to be in touch. And by the time she got to the door, she typically had that person ask her, well, hey, do you guys list properties? And she'd say, well, yes, we do, but that's not why I'm here today. I didn't want to come list your property. I know you're doing it for sale. She would respect why she was there and honor why she was there. And 9 times out of the 10, I would get a call and say, Brian, we have a listing appointment. And because then I was coming out and doing the listing appointment. She was just bird dogging. That's all she was doing. She would take her camera. She would build trust, build rapport, take a couple pictures, show them the picture. What do you think of this one? Like, she would engage with them, right? She would get them in the mindset of listing. God, could you imagine this on the front of a flyer? That looks awesome. And she was just really good at that. And so, but I'm going to go back to the very beginning. if you just go out and do nothing else but knock on Fsbo doors, you can't just knock on them without confidence. Have some confidence in something. Look at their tax records. Know the person's name. Are you this person? You know, hey, did you know the house down the street or those sellers? Know the market you're in. Knock on the door. Spend 5 minutes and do a quick little, you know, confidence builder before you just go and talk to somebody without a script of some sort and some way that fits your personality. Because I know for a fact I could go door knocking in Cameron's market and I could set appointments for Cameron all day long, but I can't set appointments for me. Does that make sense? Like, a lot of people don't have that confidence to set them for themselves, but I could set them for somebody who's got an awesome property program like him. That makes sense. So until I have that program, until I have that ability, that muscle, that strength to walk up with confidence and list this property, man, just be a team, be part of a team. I'm just here representing my team. Depending, if you have 100 agents in your office, you're a team. Go find the top producer and say, hey, I was door knocking, I got a listing appointment. You want to go do this with me? That's my input.
Love it. Okay, so when you discuss price, commissions, if they're overpriced or anything like that, Brian?
Yeah, I'd love to show sellers a net sheet. So I typically just carry a random net sheet from a home that's in the area that's similar price and show them a net sheet that had me at 3% and the other agent or 2.5% or whatever it is. And I just show them a net sheet. And these are all the things that we had to do and accomplish for another seller in the area. Look, it's got termite on it. It's got a home warranty. I just like to show them a net sheet. And I ask them, would you like a net sheet on the sale of your home? And would you like to see what it looks like, what you're going to net, what you're going to walk away, what you owe? Because every sale is going to be different. We breed termites in California, so chances are you have termites. You know, I just have fun with it. I want them to engage in the process. I want to see if what they owe on their property matches what the tax records have. And so that's what I would show them, Pete, would be really I'm not there to do malpractice. I'm there to set an appointment to really come back and see if I can help them and if I want to help them. Like, sometimes, like I said, these people are wounded. And
now so let me ask you this question. Would you do the net sheet based on their asking price or what you feel it'll sell at?
I love to use the RPR report on most homes and whatever marketplace you're in. I like to pull an RPR report and take them the basic desktop RPR and I show them the sliding scale options and I move them around to show them how much I can add or subtract from their price. And I back that up with some comps. So yes, it's important that you know the value of the property. You don't want to just knock on it. That's why I was saying all the homework that you want to do up front, you definitely want to know. You know, you know what they're asking for the property most of the time in their own generic way of being, you know, up for sale by owner for this amount of money. So you can do that up front and match it up. But again, sometimes it doesn't really matter. I think what they think is they have fantasy, and I think it's our job to show them reality, but yet we can work with their fantasy in an appointment. But it's hard to go there not seeing the property, because if I go there with my value and I haven't been in the backyard to see that they have a pit bull that's chewed up everything back there and there's about $10,000 worth of work, then, you know, everything I did up front is not going to matter, because now I'm going to be like, oh crap, I don't want to show them this price. This place is a beater.
So is the net sheet provided on the second go around?
Yeah, I would take it on the second. I take one to show them as an example of a home in an area, similar price that I've sold or one that I just sold. It's really about them engaging in the process of like seeing all of that there, you know, and how much do you owe on your property? It says here on the tax record, you owe $385, but that was 8 years ago. What's your loan payoff today? Do you know that? Right. And I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna walk them through a very generic listing appointment, so to speak. I'm not a rapport guy. Okay. I don't walk through and go, oh, you guys have been to Cabo? I go to Cabo. I'll do that if it's necessary. But I know that if I have an opportunity to build trust over rapport, I'm going after trust 100% of the time, because trust builds confidence and trust is what people hire. I know people who will not hire their best friend because that's their drinking buddy who's a realtor, but I would never trust them with the sale of my house. So you have to own trust, and then rapport will naturally come. But with rapport, trust doesn't naturally come.
Love it.
You gotta work hard for trust.
Yeah, I love that. That's some great advice, you guys. Trust is key. It goes a long time. It's big currency. Look, oh my God, Cam's going crazy up the upper left-hand corner. Go, Cam.
Man, it's because I haven't been here for a few weeks. So That was fantastic. Brian, one quick thing, confidence, huge. When you walk up and you're in front of someone, you need to relay that you are in the market selling a home. Now, one thing also I wanted to relay to you guys, Gail, you said this is kind of the phony buyer thing, right? With the internet and social media these days, you guys, if you do a video for these guys and you put it on your social media, you are sharing it to your potential buyers. There's nothing lying about that. That is the truth. I have sold so many homes in the last year through social media that this is the truth. I can put it on there and I will get leads and people that want to buy it. So the other thing is, I forgot to tell you guys this, or what I wanted to say is another thing that I would do today if I was going after for sub owners, and I will be doing this, is showing my video portfolio on social media. I can pull it up and be like, oh, here's one that I just did. You know, a home we sold had over 2 million views. And they go, oh my God, 2 million views. And, you know, they can see the numbers and they see it all. Can I do a video like this for you guys? Oh yeah, we'd love that. Absolutely. And it takes 5 minutes to record a quick video. You get a tour of their home. Again, you're bringing value. And that is definitely something I would do. So if you guys are posting on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok and all that, come with values. Ask them if you can post on their social media.
Love it. Great stuff, guys. Great stuff. You know, I want to go over to one of Gil's guests right now, who's an assassin with Fsbo's. Corey Mckinney's on with us. Corey, great to have you. So how many Fsbos do you typically try to go after? And when you have gone after them, what's been kind of your approach?
So I get pretty strategic. I'll just be honest, a bulk of my business is canceled and expires. But when I do go after Fsbos, I get very specific on the ones that I want to go after. I use a lot of the similar techniques that you guys have explained here, you know, building rapport. I really dive into what made you list from a curiosity standpoint, what made you list the home on your own versus using an agent? Most of the time they're going to say commissions and fees. So I reframe that the same way I would an objection on a phone call or something. So, okay, it sounds like to me, you want to make net the most amount of money possible. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, got it. So if I were able to show you a way to net more money and offset the stress and anxiety that selling the home on your own is making you go through, and all the showings being there, the little things like having the home professionally cleaned or staged, if I can take all that off of your plate and you make more money, is that something you'd at least want to talk about for 15, 20 minutes? And if they don't, then okay, fine. My next approach is, hey, how about this? Sometimes there's people that just don't want to talk to you at all. If that doesn't land me the appointment, I say, hey, how about this? And this is a strategy I don't think many people use, but tell me if you guys are using it, is what if I put a sign in your yard that says, hey, text, I have a code through our CRM system, text their address to my phone number. They'll immediately get a digital flyer with all the home information. I tell the seller, hey, I'll go through and vet your buyer, make sure they're a qualified buyer that's an actual truly interested in it. They're not just coming to tromp through your home, or they're not just a looky-loo or a neighbor. And then if there's somebody that's really there, I can represent the buyer. You can still represent yourself. And if not, I still get a couple buyer leads coming into my database that I can say, hey, it sounds like you're looking for a home in this neighborhood that has 4 bedrooms with a pool, whatever it is. And I could start following up with them. Now I'm generating leads off there for sell by owner, whether they list with me or not. So it's a really cool tactic, and you can look into your CRM. Our CRM, KV Core, provides that text tool for free.
Right. You get the text tool for free. I think you can do the QR code. You can have a stealth landing page where you could have the video on there, all that stuff. So
yeah,
that's great stuff. I think that shows a lot of value, right? People,
right, a lot of value. And as I'm bringing these buyers through repeatedly through their home, they're trusting me. They're, you know, after 3 or 4, they allow me to put a lockbox on their home with a key that only I can open and things like that.
To list the house, not with an agent, but to do it on your own. What motivated you to do that? And what type of experience have you had? And you'll see people, they'll go into bashing mode, right? They're pretty honest. They'll say, oh, my last experience was terrible. People never showed up. They weren't there for the showings. They dropped the ball. They didn't service it. Agents suck. And you have to get on their side, say, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I don't like agents either, but I got to work with them. You know, these are the people I have to work with. So,
Right.
you know, let me deal with them. Why do you want to deal with them?
Just go those 7 questions deep. Maybe you don't have to go 7, but okay, what's important about that to you? What's important about netting the most amount of money? Oh, because I need this, this, and this. Okay, tell me more about that. And then they go deeper. And then you really get to the true root of their motivation. And now you know how to just, really close on them in a strong way, meaningful way.
Yeah, and I think we have those 7 deep questions from Build You Guys. For the people on there, I think we have around 70. The legend out in Park City. I mean, look at the office he's in. He's coming in hot. There's no snow there. He's moving around. He's smiling, dialing. He's taking over 100 listings a year. And you guys, you know something? When you control the listings, you control the market. So Dave, what approaches have you guys taken in the past when it comes to Fsbos to really stand out and get the listing?
Well, first of all, it's mindset. If you believe you can get for sale by owners, you'll get them. If you don't believe you'll get them, you won't. That's you to list your home as opposed to an agent. The actual question that I like, and when you're asking a question, if you put these 3 words in front of it, you'll get an answer that is truthful many more times. So Dennis, I was wondering, ... right? So I'm just wondering. So the specific script that I use is, why did you decide to sell your home on your own as opposed to hiring a real estate agent? Very simple. Just wondering. So that's the first thing. One of the other things that I do in our market, almost everybody is willing to pay 3% on the buyer side because they just, they know that the agents are not going to bring people. So once you get them to agree, so Pete, if I show your house to a client and we get it sold, would you pay me the, kind of the standard 3%? And Pete
Sure.
says yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to understand. Once you understand that concept, now you're not talking on $1 million house, you're not talking about $30,000 anymore. You're talking about 15, right?
No, instead of 60, you're talking about 30.
I'm sorry, 60 and 30.
Stop cutting
Sorry.
yourself short, Dave. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And so, so that is just so important to know. Okay. The other thing I always do is I congratulate you, Pete. To talk to you.
I think that's,
But these are the 3 questions that I ask, or this is what I actually say. I've said this hundreds of times to people, And this is what gets you in the door. You can't ever sell a Fsbo unless you get in the door. If you remember, the number one thing is get in the door, and I'm not trying to sell the house. I'm not trying to list the house. I'm trying to help them find a buyer for questions that I say. And they say, well, because I want to get in the house. And if they say yes, and I say, well, Pete, generally what I do when I come out is three things. Number one, your home may be a perfect fit for somebody that we're working with right now, or a buyer that we're working with in the very near future. In which case, if we can send them your way and you can get the home sold, wouldn't that be terrific? Yes. Number two, the next thing I can do for you is share with you exactly this market today, what's exactly moving in this market today, right? Do they want to know that? Say yes.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, very nonchalant, I say, and lastly, if you'd like to, I can share with you what we've done to sell over 204 homes in the last 12 months. But that's it. And that'll usually get you in the door. Now, I can't. All these listings, so whoever goes and knocks on the door, or whoever calls and makes this appointment, then they're the person that is on the listing. So those are just some of the tips. I've used these for over 20 years. I also used to, long time ago, 20 years ago, or 2000, I think it was, I put together a I haven't used that for many years, but psychologically, man, that got in the door all the time. And we would talk about stuff, and we had the 27 tips. And, I love the one about legal, this, you better be careful, from the legal aspect, and make sure you get all the forms, especially the buyer due diligence form. You're going to give them that, right? So.
I love that.
Anyway, so those are just some of the things that I do. But if you remember one thing, if you think you can, you can. If you don't think you they don't need a realtor. You know what they need? They need great agents that are going to do a really, really good job for them. And then the last thing is you need to know your stats. But my average listing I did 6 years of the whole MLS. I compared it to the 6 years of the Lawson team listings that were sold. And I get our clients 2.24% more money. And now when they understand that, and all I'm getting is 3%, that's like me saying, Pete, if I net, not always, I should never use that word, will almost always, or generally, we're going to net them more money and do all the work and protect them and pay for all the marketing. And if you go in with the mindset that you're there to help them and they need you, it's like I'm interviewing you, Pete. You're not interviewing me. When you go in with that mindset, you're going to be tremendously more successful.
Love that. Great stuff. Dave Lawson coming in hot from a cold area. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to move from Dave. Dave, that was dynamite. And Dave, what scripts are you using? Where can people find them?
I had an agent, Jill Purcell. She worked for me, and then we put together a script. So I'll look at it and try to get that script over to everybody.
Okay, cool, awesome. Let's go from Dave to Gary Massa. Massa's coming in hot. There he is. Look at, he's got TVs behind him. He's got stats going. He's selling like a maniac in San Diego. Gary, when you go after Fsbos, and I know you've gone after them before, do you do it on the phone? Do you do it in person? Do you knock on their door? What's your approach?
Yeah, I mean, again, like Cameron said earlier, I haven't worked Fsbos in a really, really long time, given market conditions. I'll say that Melissa on my team, and I was just texting with her to see if she was on the call or not. She'd have a lot of great insight for us because I know that she does work that market segment, and it's really more so like phone calls and just trying to get the appointment to get in. And I know that when I was working Fsbos on a more consistent basis, it was really about just trying to come over, see the house, right? Just get in front of them, get into the house and create that relationship because the guard is just so up all the time, and so I did like a lot of the ideas that, Cameron brought up. We also used to, have a package that we would leave. It was like a Fsbo lifeguard kit or like a rescue kit. We had a sticker made that looked like a lifeguard, and we would leave the packet with them of like all the things that they could do to get their home sold. But it was designed really to help them understand how much work is involved in the whole process, and also create the doubt that they may be putting themselves in a challenged legal position by not knowing the laws and rules and stuff.
Love that. I love the packet, dropping off the packet and just introducing yourself and just being helpful and coming from a place of contribution. A lot of times I've said in the past, you guys, Fsbos in the past markets that we're coming out of right now, and I know Brian will agree with this too, Fsbos are equal to the gym. Nobody needs it when times are good and they're looking good and so forth, and they're living heavy on the hog and they're eating everything and they can't even find a gym. But 6 months later, when everything slows down, you look in the mirror, you got to get to the gym every day and work those muscles and get going. That's like a Fsbo, right? Nobody could find them 6 months ago. They would throw a sign up there. They'd get 100 calls, 80 calls would be agents, 20 calls would be buyers who wanted to undercut them, and they would get a ridiculous price. Now it's all changed. So you just have to remember, it's all mindset with that. You have to go work out, work it every day and be consistent and get in front of them and be confident with whatever your approach is. There's been a lot of great tips here. So that's key thing. Anything else you want to add, Gary?
No, I mean, just again, this is a conversation that we've been having on my team for the last couple of months as well, is that with the shift in the market, right? Like most sellers' mindsets are still, they're typically about 3 to 6 months behind what was happening because of all the great stories that they've heard from their aunts, cousins, nephew, whatever about, the heyday, if you will. But things have changed quickly and they really haven't caught up. So, right now we are seeing a lot more, for sale by owners and expireds, coming back to the market or being more available of a source. But again, it's, to your point, Pete, I do believe it's about education, helping people understand like, hey, look, you might have been right, but now, 6 months ago, but now let me help you understand like what it takes to get a home sold. And I think the education piece on a lot of levels is the most important thing, and get in front of them. So it's something we're going to see a lot more of. And I think to the point, it needs to start today if you want to get in front of it, not like 6-8 months next year, because then everybody's going to be doing it. Like I guarantee at the next Tom Ferry seminar, they're going to be like, guys, go back out and do Fsbos. I mean, they probably already did that in August, right? And so everybody's on it. And when they finally figure it out, it'll be kind of, we're swimming upstream again.
I love it. And it's so true too, because you have to start analyzing the market and saying, where are we going to be 6-12 months from now, and go that direction now. Get out in front of it, right? But you have to start today. and you have to be consistent. It's not where you say, okay, I'm all charged up. Gary Massa got me fired up, or Dave Lawson or Corey got me fired up to go do this. And I'm going to go and make landing pages and all this. And you try it one time and it fizzles out and you go, oh, that doesn't work. So we're going to not do it. You know, let's go to the beach. Let's go to Randy Zimnoch. Look at, he's out on the beach. He's got his suntan lotion on. Randy, what have you guys done in the past? And I don't know if people are familiar with this, but Randy ran a very successful, big real estate company in San Diego, and they were going after everyone. So what did you guys do to get Fsbos in the past?
All right, well, as you know, I'll put a different spin on it since we have the flipping company, right? It's still
Right.
operating. That's the company that I ran for 7 years. And then we, of course, had our brokerage that we also ran with Brian, who's on the call. So I want to speak more from the investor, right, approach. Because technically, if you're going to do direct mail as an investor, you're going after Fsbos, right? They're just not on Zillow yet or wherever they post them as a for sale by owner. They haven't like raised their hand yet in essence, right, publicly. However, there's plenty of people that if they get the right letter at the right time of their life of whatever is happening, they might raise their hand and they'll call you directly because you're the one that was in front of them, right? And that's the key is first of all, I think for everything that was mentioned here, if you just try to touch base with someone once, the chances of that actually converting are so minimal, right? You got to actually do it several times. So it's the same language we use in the investor arena is if someone asks me like, Randy, I have $1,000, should I just blanket one area with one letter? I'm like, no, if that's your budget, why don't you break that down into 5 to 6 letters and make your area smaller so you can stretch the $1,000 over 5 touches to less people, right? So that goes the same thing with what you guys are all talking about, going directly to someone that already raised their hand publicly, right? You don't just usually talk to them once, check in with them. After you provide the value, check in. Hey, how are things going? Did you get to review my book, right? If you're Cameron, hey, did you get to see the flyer I made for you? Like, you got to keep doing that. But going back to what we have been doing and I am still doing is one thing you can do as an agent is partner with a local investor, right? Because not all investors are out there spending money on direct mail, right? A lot of investors rely on the MLS and agents to bring them opportunities, or they just call the agents that list the opportunities that need work off the MLS, and they don't really spend any money. They just spend time, right, for marketing. And that's one way of doing it. However, if you have investors that are not spending money on direct mail, you could be the agent that says, hey, by the way, can you tell me your appetite? Where do you like to buy as an investor? Because I would love to actually mail to that neighborhood and see if there's anyone that's interested in buying directly, selling directly to you. Would you be open if I did that? And what investor, if they're not doing it themselves, would say no? Right? Oh, wait, you're going to market on my behalf. And then if you get a seller that's interested in selling to a cash buyer, you're going to contact me. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, it's exactly what I'm saying. Like, it's simple, right? So now you have a buyer that's willing to go and look at meet with the seller to potentially submit a cash offer. So what you would do is you would write a letter saying, hey, I'm a local realtor. I'm an expert in the area. I'm working with this investor, very reputable company. They're looking for more projects in the area. They're cash buyers. There will be no commissions to me. That's the key word, right? No commission to me because they're going to allow me to list the property when it's rehabbed on the back end. Like, because you got to answer them, wait, so how are you getting paid, right? You can't be like, wait, you're an agent and you're saying no commission. So I just tell them like, well, this investor, if they end up buying your home, I'm going to relist their home when it's rehabbed, right? So I'm just looking for sellers that are not wanting to go to the open market, not wanting to spend commissions. They want to sell the home as is, leave everything behind they don't want. If you want a quick and easy, stress-free sale, this is your buyer. And I work with them. And I would love to see if you're interested. So obviously, you're not going to put all that in the letter, but take what I'm saying, right? And bits is most of those bullet points you would just lay out in those letters. But again, not one letter, several letters in the same neighborhood that you guys identify with your investor. So as you guys were talking, I've actually gathered these different campaigns from our education company that we have, and I laid them out in folders and I put them in a Dropbox. I'm going to drop that in the Dropbox links for you guys. So there's different absentee owner campaigns that I have in there. I have just a generic mailer campaign directly to sellers. Just mind you know that these campaigns are written from an investor directly to the homeowner. So all you need to do is insert yourself into the picture and say, hey, my name is Randy Zimnak. I'm a local realtor. I'm an expert in the area. I'm working with this investor. And then literally you can continue on with whatever the letter says that, hey, they're willing to buy as is. They're willing to, help you with moving expenses, all those things. So all the body of that letter, of each letter applies. You just need to insert yourself as the agent, right, into these letters that I'm going to share with you guys. And let me finish with this. One of the things that I'm doing now is I actually have a business where I'm also now wholesaling land, right? And it's something that I started about 8 months ago with another business partner. And we're actually sending offers. Literally, there is a software that will allow us to automatically, there is an algorithm, they analyze the land that we identify that we want to mail to, and it will automatically send them an offer in the mail to the owner on the tax record. And I'll share that with you guys as well in the Dropbox, but literally, you would think like, why would a landowner just sell to you at a discount? It's the same reason. Why would a homeowner want to sell to a Zillow cash buyer, which no longer they don't buy anymore? But why would they do that? It's convenience, right? It's all about convenience. So literally within the last few months, guys, we're getting about a 1 to 1.5% conversion rate on our letters, sending to landowners who usually are out of area own these properties because they inherited this land, they forgot about it, and here they literally get an offer in the mail, 1-page offer, which I'll show you what we use in the mail. Do you think that gets them like, wow, wait a minute, there was an offer in the mail. So they literally call us, and we've been locking up land parcels, guys, around Lake Elsinore, and now we're expanding and literally buying them. No kidding. Like Brian knows, I'm not lying. Like 1/4 of the value of the as-is value. Like it's ridiculous because there's less competition, right, in the land acquisition game than there is with flippers, right? So that's just a side note that you can consider. So we literally would be picking things up at like 30,000, selling them for 100,000. It's kind of crazy, but I just want to leave that for you. Maybe we can get into another session, but these are all for sale by owners.
That's
right?
going to be our next session, investments with Randy on the beach. All
That's
right.
it.
So I love
I'll
that.
send the
Great
link to you
stuff,
guys.
Randy Z. So we got to go. We have 3 minutes left. We're going to do a speed round with the ROG, otherwise known as the real estate opportunity guy, not the real estate old guy. It's not because he's old. He's slinging opportunities. Let's go with him. 3 minutes. You got a minute and a half. Give me your best Fsbo approaches.
Best thing that we're doing is the goal is like pretty much everybody said, you got to get the Trojan horse in the house. So one of the things that we've been doing is disguising it, that we're actually just implementing it because I knew this was coming and I knew the conversation. We've gone to our home stager who we work with a lot, and we've got her going at him. And she's given him a half-hour consultation in the house and saying, oh, by the way, how did you come up with your price? Oh, by the way, how are you doing this? Oh, by the way, how are things going? We're doing the same thing with expireds. So we're taking that person and letting them get in the door and not beating them up as an agent. But, oh, by the way, maybe your house didn't sell because it wasn't staged. Then they're saying, you know what? There's a guy that I work with. I see him all the time. His name's Craig Lurch. Been around for 30. You ever talk to him? You ever seen his stuff? No. If you want, I can get him on the phone. He'd love to confirm your price. He does a lot of that stuff because he likes to help. You know, it's the third party endorsement that's there selling and at the same time. And then she says, you know what he also does? Sometimes when you hire him, he pays for me to do all this. So now we're giving an added value, we're getting in a door, and we're getting a third party. So one of the ideas that we've been working on. There's your
I love it. The ROG real estate opportunity guy. Great approach.
Oh, other
Leading with
thing
value.
with the Fsbos, we're
Love it.
going and we're lending them these. If you don't have these on your signs, you should.
What are
These
they?
are lights at night. You covered at night, it lights.
Ooh,
We're
nice.
lending them to them to put on the sign because at any given point, they're gonna remember every night it lights, who gave it to them.
That's awesome.
And they're gonna have to give them, they cost, I don't know, they're like 30 bucks for two, whatever it is, or whatever it is. Point is that they're gonna feel obligated to give it back to you. And before
Right.
they list with somebody, they're gonna want to talk to you because then on top of it, they're gonna feel bad giving it back to you after they gave it to somebody else.
That's-
Especially in
Going
Philly.
back to the story of, the little flower with the, who are the guys that stood around the train station asking for $1, but they make sure you took the flower. It's the sign of reciprocity. There you go.
Right.
I gave you a favor, but I want it back.
Where do you get those lights? What's the company?
All you got to do, matter of fact, mysignshine.com. It's Dave Lentz designed before. And anybody who does, it has nothing to do with me. He said anybody types in the promo code the ROG, because I told all the agents that work for me in my group, the ROG, you get 10% off. It's free. It saves you money. So I love these things. They're great. Nobody else in our area has them. They go on with the three-way tape, whatever, the M3 tape. You put more on, you take it off, and you go from there.
I love it.
Especially
The
now,
ROG bringing all types of value as usual. Dennis, bring us home. We're at 10. You got 60 seconds. The X-Men's on the clock. Go.
How about we do a part two? How about we leave Dennis for part two?
Okay, we could do that. Yeah, let's leave it as a cliffhanger. Well, the X-Men start off next week on part two of Fsbos, right? And that's what we'll do. I love the tips. We'll even go back to the ROG, otherwise known as the real estate opportunity guy. Now I'm going to have to say that he's the real estate discount guy or opportunity codes. He's giving out discounts, all types of stuff. He's saving you money before you even start the campaign.
I'm going to be a
Awesome stuff.
Clemson Tiger fan this weekend, going to the Clemson game in about 3
geez.
hours. Get on the plane.
Oh, wow. He's going to Death Valley. Okay, so that's the deal, you guys. Let's really ramp this up. There was some great stuff today. Thank you for everybody on here. Dave Lawson, Gary Massa, Corey, Randy, Brian, Cam, Gail, everybody did a great job. Dennis, you did an awesome job of listening. That's half the battle in real estate. And we'll see everybody next week. We're going to do Fsbo part 2 next Thursday, 9 to 10. And remember, let's grow this up to 500 to 1,000 people. There's a lot of great nuggets on this. Invite people you know. It's very brand agnostic. Bring anybody you want from any company. Let's get a central code that you can zoom on and get on, and let's check it out. Everybody have a great week. Stay positive. People are looking to buy, go find them. People are looking to sell, go find them. That's the best recipe you can have in real estate. Talk to you soon.
Later.